Hey there, today I'm looking at the graphic novel adaptation of A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Guin, adapted by Fred Fordham. And normally what I usually do on my channel is I go through the entire book. I'm not going to do that with this book because that would be like revealing a major spoiler at the end, and I'm not going to do that. So I will give you a pretty good flavor for the book. I'll look at several pages and so on, but I'm not going to go to the end because it's just I don't really want to spoil it for you. So I'll avoid spoilers if you're worried. Also, every now and then I will, I read a lot of graphic novels, and every now and then though, I'm just like something totally surprises me, and I wasn't expecting to be like as overwhelmed with like how good it is. And I think this is an example of that. I have never read this artist before, Fordham, and he's adapted a lot of books, Great Gatsby, To Kill a Mockingbird, Brave New World. This is the most recent one, and it's part of a series, so I really hope that he's able to continue it, because I imagine a lot of that depends on how well it's received. So if you want a great graphic novel, that's my recommendation, is buy a copy of this. Because so anyways, the novel that Ursula K. Le Guin wrote came out in 1968 and is part of a larger series, but I've never read the series. I've only read one of her books. And I think that normally in the past I would kind of like to read the original first, but nowadays I don't care. Like there's a movie or a graphic novel and it's getting good reviews, I want to check it out. And this was getting good reviews, and I didn't know anything about the universe, so I thought, hey, let's just dive in. And right away though, I was really impressed with the art. It has a very he's great at drawing characters, but I think even better than that, he's very good at drawing nature and like just oceans and forests. And let me find a few. Like I don't know if he's working digitally or actually painting this, but it looks wonderful. I know nowadays. I mean, it looks like the paper. It looks like it's on paper, but I know nowadays you can emulate that pretty easily. So for all I know, he's working digitally. I don't know, but very beautiful art. And right away, I was drawn into the story, and I enjoyed it, and I was interested in seeing where it was going. And basically, there's this main character, Ged, who's a wizard in training. It's got a bit of a bit of like a Luke Skywalker feel, a little Harry Potter. All these elements that were laid. I mean, we've seen them throughout history, but it's just basically how well can you do it? And I think this book does it very well. I mean, I think it's better than Harry Potter. I know maybe somebody loves Harry Potter out there, but I think this easily destroys Harry Potter. I'm kind of surprised, actually. I was looking, there are no Harry Potter graphic novels, which seems like $1 billion loss, but I guess J.K. Rowling's not hurting and gets to choose. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about, though. Look at these scenes where there's just a lot of time there's just no dialogue in it, and it works so well. And so there's, normally when I see a map at the beginning or a family tree or anything like that, I'm just my eyes glaze over. But for some reason, I haven't read a fantasy book like this in quite a while. I guess I have. I've read last year. I read what's her name? I'm blanking on it. Young Hag, which was sort of an Arthurian legend type fantasy, but I think this is better than that, actually. I mean, I like that author's works, especially Encyclopedia of Early Earth, and but yeah, I think this just clicked and worked. The only thing I'm going to say, there was only, if I have any quibbles keeping this from like saying this is a perfect graphic novel, I would have chosen a different font, but that's minor. That's pretty minor. It's a pretty good font. It's just like, I feel like it doesn't quite 100% work with me. And then there was also one point in the story where I felt like I was kind of confused on what was happening and where it was going. but a few pages later, it kind of picked up again. I feel like with his characters, he illustrates them really well. There was just a few parts where I thought some of the characters look kind of similar, and again, not a big deal though. And I figured it out, and I was able to keep going. And overall, though, I think his art's just incredible. So I'm really eager. I was trying to find out if there's going to be a sequel to this. I mean, I know there's sequels in the books, but if they're going to keep adapting it, and I haven't been able to find any information. So if anybody knows, let me know, because I thought it was wonderful. And like I said, I'm going to avoid going too far near the end of the book, because there's a suspense building throughout the book, like what's going to happen at the end and how is this going to resolve. And that's all I'm going to say, because you really want to know. And yeah, so if you like any kind of fantasy, like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, anything like that, I recommend this book, The Sandman. It's got all these elements. I mean, Ursula K. Le Guin was not as early as Tolkien, but like she was pretty early in fantasy. Like I think she started maybe the late 50s, 60s. I'm not sure exactly when, but yeah. So I can highly recommend this book. Let me show the cover again. That's all I'm going to show and say, I think, because I really don't want to avoid. I want to avoid the spoilers that I was talking about. But this is a very full world of this Earthsea place, and it seems like she has a lot more that she wants to like show and reveal in the other books and stories. I actually learned that there's I think it's a Studio Ghibli Japanese animated movie of Tales from Earthsea. So I downloaded that. I'm going to watch it. I guess I'll leave a comment below letting you know how that is. It doesn't have a good rating. It's like 6.3 or 4 on IMDb, but I'm still curious to see how another attempt at adapting. I also know there's a big fat illustrated edition. I think Charles Vest did the art of all the Earthsea material in one volume. So I'm really curious to pick that up, but I also would prefer, I think, to wait and see these graphic novels, because I think he just did such a wonderful job. And I think in the meantime, I will check out the other graphic novels that he's done. They have pretty good reviews, and we'll see how that goes. I'll review them on here, as I do with virtually all the comics and graphic novels that I look at. So check it out. A Wizard of Earthsea, adapted by Fred Fordham, and originally written by Ursula K. Le Guin.